at it again, and I saw the title of this video and I was like, oh yeah, this has got to be a good one. But before we hop into it, make sure you guys hit that like button, and if you are not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. And make sure you guys are following me on all my social media accounts. Links are in the description box below. Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, Discord server, all of that good stuff is down below. And with that being said, let's dive in.
Questions to ponder. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, a lot of finger pointing continues tonight in the Republican Party. Here at the Angle, we're less concerned with the finger pointing about the past and more concerned about how to get better results in the future. Lots of buzz about challenges and changes to Republican leadership in the House, in the Senate, and the RNC after more disappointing news over the weekend and tonight out of Nevada and Arizona. Now, who knows how things are going to shake out, but as much as the grassroots wants to...
If you don't know the news, I believe Laxalt actually ended up losing in Nevada, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But it has been reported that Kari Lake has or is projected to now lose, which I kind of suspected from the jump, you know, but I didn't want to be doom and gloom. I like to be more on the optimistic side, and we can sit here and discuss, you know, funny business or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, and I'll jump back into the video. At the end of the day, one of the things that, you know, as Republicans, we have to get better at is messaging to the youth. A lot of these exit polls showed that the youth came out in numbers that we just didn't expect. And obviously the youth cared more about abortion than they cared about the actual economy. So, yeah, like I said, we could talk about some other things that possibly could have happened. But at the end of the day, there are some things that as Republicans we can get better at, including myself. All right. That is just a fact. So let's continue on.
Turn the entire party upside down, and I do not blame them one bit. They also need to be realistic about the landscape. You can't beat something with nothing. And the power of the status quo is formidable. Yeah, so whoever's in charge will have to lay out the groundwork now for a far more sophisticated campaign in 2024. If you want to lead the Republican Party, you need to be able to answer some tough questions.
Gotta have some vigor. Gotta have, you know, a message. You have to be able to rally the troops, so to speak. And yeah, I don't think the leadership in place right now can do that. And I touched on that in yesterday's video.
First, we can complain about it, and we do. But even in some Republican states, ballot harvesting is legal in certain circumstances. In fact, it's legal in dozens of states. Ballot harvesting is basically when a third party, often political ops, can collect and bring in ballots for a voter. So why the heck aren't Republicans better at it? You know, what are the most successful groups doing it now? How much does it cost? And what are Republicans doing to emulate the successful methods? Why can't they canvass at senior centers, baseball games, country music festivals, and I don't know, outside of NASCAR events? Second, as much as we all wish voting was limited to one day, and I would mandate that tomorrow if I were queen, early voting is probably here to stay. So what's leadership proposing that their state officials do to get better at this? You got to hand it to them. The Democrats know how to game the system. But until Republicans can change election laws, they need to beat the Democrats at their own game.
Holy moly, I'm so happy to hear. First we heard who was it? Tommy Lauren yesterday in yesterday's video saying the exact same thing. And you can go back. A lot of y'all know. You can go back like 2 or 3 weeks. I couldn't tell you the exact video. Forgive me, all right? Forgive me. But you can go back like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was saying this before I heard them say it. We have to play the game. You have to play the game to win. Once you win, then you can stop the game from being played. And we can go back to how it used to be. But you have to play the game. If you don't play, you can't win. And if you can't win, you cease to exist. I'm so happy to hear somebody actually. Listen, for a while I thought I was an idiot. I was like, well, maybe I'm just an idiot, and you know, maybe just playing the game was just a stupid idea. No, it actually isn't. You have to. We're being forced to at this point. All right. So, hey, get with it. Let's go. Let's go.
You got to hand it to them. The Democrats know how to game the system. But until Republicans can change election laws, they need to beat the Democrats at their own game.
Bang.
Otherwise, how are they going to avoid scenes playing out like this?
Clark County, there were 22,000 votes that were counted there.
85,000 votes just came in the governor's race here. Pima County, Tucson area, second biggest county in the state. So we got another batch of 24,000 votes reported out there.
Pinal County, this vote in, there was a dump of 3,379 votes.
The word dump is appropriate. Except in states like Florida, South Dakota, Democrats have the early voting field to themselves. Third, going forward, because of the early voting and the mail-in ballots, I think we all have to assume that in many states it's going to take at least 2 weeks to count the vote. So in states like Illinois, ballots actually have 2 weeks to arrive as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. It's ridiculous. And in Washington state, by the way, it's 3 weeks.
Sheesh.
So what is being done to ensure that GOP interests during this opaque process are being protected during these long and extended vote periods? Shouldn't they be doing more? Why isn't there a GOP website that allows us to track in real time how many votes are left and where the counts are actually taking place? Who's even doing the counts? For the past 6 days, Republican friends, they keep texting me and calling me saying, Laura, what is happening?
Really quickly. We also have to get into some of these polling places and become workers in some of these places. Right. I saw a video, and I'm going to make this as quick as possible. But I saw a video just the other day. I don't remember if I checked it out with you guys or if it was just on my own time. But there was this gentleman that actually exposed that he was there as a Republican, but in reality, he voted Democrat. So he had to lie in order to get the job. Yes, it was like a shorter clip. It wasn't a very long video. But yeah. He basically lied to get the job. Now, from that short clip and me, looking at his mannerisms and listening to him speak, I don't think he, was up to anything crazy. I think he just literally wanted a job. Me personally, like if my life depended on making an assessment on, his intentions, I would say that he literally just wanted a job. That's what it seemed like to me. Just the honest truth. Now, with that being said, do I think it is possible that there are some people that would lie to get a job, to do something strange? Yes, it's definitely a possibility. Now that gentleman himself, I don't think he was, but it's definitely a possibility, which is why we have to. And I said this about the school boards as well. We have to do a better job of getting on these school boards. We have to do a better job of getting into these poll places, becoming poll workers, making sure that we are in the process and not just kind of, whatever. You have to play the game in order to win. Let's jump back in. Oh, and that rhymed.
Are we going to win in Arizona? It's a feeling of total helplessness because they're left in the dark. This year, Republicans lost Senate races in Arizona, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington state out west. We lost Senate races in Connecticut, Maryland, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, New York, and Vermont on the East Coast. We won every other Senate race with the lone exception of Georgia, which obviously is the runoff, in Illinois because of Chicago, and Colorado, Denver's gone left. So Republicans are doing really well in Middle America. So what is the specific plan to do better along the two coasts? Got 12 Senate seats in New England alone. This year, the GOP continued to prove that we have a lot of support in the Latino community. But that bloc still supports Democrats by a margin of 2-1. So what are we going to do to grow that support? Certainly haven't hit the ceiling there. Sixth, if the problem is that the nominated candidates who...
For one, embrace Tulsi Gabbard. That's also, I think, a great option for Republicans because she can pull some of those middling Democrats, people that were towards the middle, over to the right. Embrace Tulsi Gabbard. Embrace her. Okay? I even think she was on the campaign trail for Republicans, which was fantastic to see. Got to embrace her. And you, like she said, you got to have a messaging. Got to have great messaging.
Donors wanted weren't nominated, and the other ones were weak. Candidates who donors wanted weren't nominated, and the other ones were weak. Well, why did Adam Laxalt lose in Nevada? He was supported by a lot of the donors. And why did Joe O'Dea lose in Colorado? Why is Murkowski struggling in Alaska? And what are Republicans doing to stop, by the way, ranked choice voting from spreading to other states? Because you know the Democrats want to do that. Next, what benefits did the GOP get from Mitch McConnell's decision to let the Biden administration have an infrastructure bill? Remember when he came on this show, Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy claimed to me and to all of you out there that that bill was going to give the Republicans more leverage to stop the climate change bill. Do you remember that debate we had? Well, the opposite happened. I predicted it. In fact, it gave the Democrats a political victory to run on this season. What the heck did we get out of it? Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, obviously, another point, doesn't like to talk much to the press. And he said almost nothing during the campaign other than that one time where he kind of criticized Republican nominees.
Which is part of the reason why somebody like Mitch McConnell, we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Who is Mitch McConnell inspiring? Now, granted, I'm new to all of this still, okay? All right? I mean, that's no secret. You guys have watched the journey. But I have yet to hear Mitch McConnell speak and be inspired by anything. Matter of fact, I haven't seen the guy in months. Where have you been, Mitch? Where have you been? Okay, like you're supposed to be the leader. I don't understand, and I think a lot of these Republicans out here are a little afraid to say anything because of his power and the money that he brings in. I think that's the reason why he's still in the position that he's in. We need some Republicans out there that can grow a pair, if you know what I mean. Okay, and stand up to the BS, because this is just absolutely unacceptable, from our leadership. I mean, come on, goodness gracious.
What are the advantages of having a Senate leader who doesn't actually speak much, especially when GOP voters are restless and even angry? Or maybe, I don't know, the quiet approach, that's preferable in a land of windbags? Now, looking at these results, most observers will likely conclude that Pelosi, even though she will narrowly lose her majority, and Schumer, who will hang on barely to his, that they're just better at politics, sadly, at this point, than McCarthy and McConnell. A lot of people are going to think that.
They are.
So why are those observers wrong? Again, we need a real conversation here. There's no shying away from it at this point.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Somehow,
face it,
despite Democrats leaving us with 8% inflation, spiking crime, and you know it's spiking, and an open border, millions of voters in battleground states didn't blame them for it. So what three things do Republicans stand for right now that the leadership can articulate with clarity, specificity, and conviction? Is it opening up immediate drilling and fracking to bring down energy costs? Is it a middle-class tax cut? So, look, we have a lot of questions. And whoever wants to lead the GOP should be giving us answers. But let's not forget, we've also had successes. In the history books, 2022 will probably be remembered as the year Roe versus Wade was overturned, and as the year Nancy Pelosi lost the House. It may also be remembered as the year the Democrats lost Florida for good, at least our lifetime. And the year that Republicans started showing new life in New York. Huge victory there.
Yeah, it's definitely not all doom and gloom. And I touched on that in the video the day after midterms. It's not all doom and gloom. I mean, I think if you look at the popular vote, across the entire nation, Republicans won the popular vote, which is kind of ironic because, that's been the whole thing with with Trump, Democrats. Oh, well, he did win the popular vote. Well, Republicans won the popular vote this time. OK, there just was some redistricting and things that, possibly could have happened around the nation that helped Democrats win. But even with that being said, we have to face the truth. You can't run away from it. It's not going away. All right. So we have to face the fact that there were still, like she said, like Laura said, there were millions of people who looked at the climate around us, inflation, crime, all of that stuff, and said, you know what? I'd rather go back to that than to vote for a Republican. Why is that? Why? Every single Republican needs to ask themselves that question. Why? I've given my thoughts. What do y'all think? Talk to me.
Those are great accomplishments. But as
Absolutely.
we've been telling you, it's not enough to keep winning the same states over and over again, obviously with the exception of New York.
Yeah.
We need leaders who want to do better and who can help us grow this movement. And we will keep looking for them until we find them. The conversation starts here tonight. That's the angle.
Hey,
Love
Sean,
it. Love it. Love it. Shout out to Laura Ingram. Well said. Well said. The conversation needs to be had, and it needs to start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not a month from now, not 6 months from, the next election. It needs to start now. We need solutions now. And like I said before, messaging to the youth is a huge thing. Mitch McConnell, I don't believe someone like Mitch McConnell or even Kevin are going to connect with the youth. That's just my personal opinion. And apparently there are quite a few people that agree with me, because I've seen that messaging being put out there. Get rid of some of the leadership. People like Lindsey Graham, who I feel, this is just my personal opinion. Y'all can let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. But people like Lindsey Graham, I feel intentionally try to sabotage the midterms. Intentionally. And I said this yesterday. Why in the world would you bring a bill to outright ban abortion 3 weeks before the midterms? When you saw people out there rioting over that issue, you saw Democrats rallying behind that issue, and my only reasoning, the only explanation to do something like that is to sabotage the party. You can't be that ignorant to what's going on around you. Even Democrats know not to pull off a stunt like that. Even Democrats know. So you mean to tell me Lindsey Graham didn't realize that was going to be a bad move? He knew it. He didn't care. And y'all can let me know if y'all agree or not. But people like Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, all the old guard, okay? Nothing against old folks, but I mean like just the old leadership in the Republican Party. We need to get rid of it. We need to bring in a new, okay? We need some people with some vigor, a strong message, because like she said, where's Mitch been? Where's he been? Has anybody seen him? Honestly, I completely forgot about him for a while, in the midst of everything going on. I really didn't even realize Mitch had been missing until, right after. I was like, hold on, wait a second. Where's Mitch been? You see Nancy Pelosi all the time. See her all the time. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is everywhere. You cannot get on YouTube and look up anything political without seeing a video of Nancy Pelosi pop up somewhere, or somebody talking about something she said or something that happened to her. She's everywhere. Where is Mitch? It's like finding Where's Waldo. You guys remember Where's Waldo? Those books. Where's Mitch? We can't find him. I mean, goodness gracious. So, yeah, we have to start the tough conversation. And like I said, we have to get better at playing the game. And we can talk about funny business, yada, yada, yada. I get that, whatever. But before we just go all in on funny business, I would much rather exhaust all other options, because we know where it goes the other way, with the other route. Okay, we know where that goes, and I don't want to go down that route. I really don't. So exhaust all options the other way, get some new leadership in place, get the messaging out to the youth a lot better. Okay, get better at playing the political game, something that I've touched on before, and we just heard Laura Ingraham touch on it. We heard Tommy Lauren touch on it yesterday. We have to play the game. In places where, you know, you can mail in your ballot or whatever, where there's ballot harvesting, we have to play the same game that they are playing, and we have to do it better than what they are doing. Otherwise, we'll just continue to lose. And I'm not willing to just sit back and lose. I'm not a loser. I'm not a loser. I told y'all the story of me getting second place and launching the trophy across the gym floor. I'm not cool with losing. Okay? I get angry when I lose. I mean, not like super angry anymore. When I was a kid, I used to get really, really angry when I would lose. But I'm not just gonna sit back and accept defeat, so to speak. Right? I'm going to, you know, try to find some solutions, some answers, and I'm gonna keep coming back over and over and over again until I win. That's just my mentality. Hope y'all ride with me. Peace and love. I'm out.